Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan. The Book of Boba Fett is done. It's over. And a lot of people have very conflicting opinions and views when it comes to this show, whether or not it's good even, or amazing as some people claim and cling on to that idea. But a lot of people are speaking out, and it's very interesting to see. And Boundary in Comics actually has an article here about a resurfaced Charles Soule tweet, which explains the current Star Wars, why current Star Wars is a disaster. So this is an old one, but it's resurfaced because people are interested with what this guy has to say and may or may not agree with it. And people just are so divided on this show that it may take someone with the expertise of Charles Soule to explain the situation or to give clarity to it. But let's take a look. A resurfaced tweet from Star Wars The High Republic novelist. Oh, fuck me in the ass. I thought he was working on Legends. In the other article, they just talked about how he was a prominent Star Wars writer. If he's a High Republic one, it's probably going to be ironically showing the current state of why it's bad. The High Republic novelist and comic book creator Charles Soule explains why the current state of Star Wars is such a disaster. Yeah, this is if he worked on this nonsense, utter nonsense, it's most likely going to be ironically showing us why it sucks. The tweet sees Soule responding to an inquiry by a Twitter user asking about a continuity error regarding Yoda's lightsaber. I don't know why it's saying it came up because this just happened. The tweet resurfaced following Chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, where Luke Skywalker offers to give Grogu Yoda's lightsaber. Which, that moment just pisses me off because Luke very much understands the importance of attachments. It's literally his attachment to his father that saved Vader in the end and enabled the destruction of the Emperor and the dismantling of the Empire. So attachments are very important to Luke, and he understands it's part of the reason why the Jedi Order failed during the prequels is because they weren't allowed to have attachments. If Anakin was able to be open with his relationship about Padme, something that he honestly felt like he couldn't help, it may not have turned out the way it did. He very much understands why it's important to have attachments, but be in control of those attachments still, obviously. And the fact that he's like, never see your daddy again, or go back to him and stop using the Force? Like, that was such a dumb fucking moment. Beyond just the canon contradiction with him having the lightsaber to begin with. Twitter user and Equal Society asked Lucasfilm Story Group member Matt Martin, "Hey Matt, I was reading my complete locations book and I think that I found a continuity error. Yoda's lightsaber is depicted here as being present on Yoda's hut by the time of..." I'm not sure what that initial is for. But in Charles Soule's Dark Lord of the Sith comic book, it was burned in the first issue. Yeah, so that was a contradiction even before the show, and the show is contradicting both of these statements, but we'll have to see. That looks like it was a while ago. It's an interesting artwork. I love the old stuff. As shown in The Revenge of the Sith, Yoda loses his lightsaber while dueling with Chancellor Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious. When Sidious attacks Yoda with a bolt of Force lightning, Yoda's lightsaber is knocked out of his hand and plummets to the floor. And that's the last moment we see it in the continuity films. The lightsaber is then shown in Charles Soule's Darth Vader #1 being incinerated with a number of other Jedi lightsabers during a political ceremony meant to cement the Empire in the eyes of the people of Coruscant and the galaxy. Yeah, I saw this image. And God, that's not great art. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that art style. But if Disney did retcon it so that Yoda lost his lightsaber permanently at the time, why does Luke have it? The lightsabers were most definitely destroyed as shown in the comic. Yep. Martin would respond to the query at the time stating, "Yep, we were aware of that. It's not an error though. It was clear from Revenge of the Sith that he didn't leave Coruscant with that saber. A 900-year-old Jedi was probably had more than a few sabers in his life." So they're saying he made a new one? As shown in other Star Wars off branches, comics, and video games, I believe they show the Empire going to Ilum really quickly after the Purge, and that would make sense because if a Jedi needed to build a new lightsaber, that would be a key place for them to go for the kyber crystal. I think there were 2 or 3 other places that it was capable of finding kyber crystals, but that was like the main one. So if Yoda wanted to build a new lightsaber, as he's hinting at here, how the fuck did he get a crystal? Which, that also creates a point. How did Luke get a crystal for the one he built in the novelization of Return of the Jedi? I'd be interested to know how he did that. I'm sure there's an explanation somewhere, so Yoda may have been able to find one in that case. Sol would also respond he built a new one, or he had more than one, or Palpatine made up a fake one to make a point, you know? Oh, so this guy who's supposed to know is just saying, you know, might have happened this way, might have happened that way. I don't know. That's as thought-provoking as somehow Palpatine returned. Y'all are supposed to make up reasons why shit happens, not just be like, somehow. You know, somehow. Then he added, errors seek not, stories enjoy you should. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, that is dipshit material. Errors seek not, stories enjoy you should. That is... He's trying to tell you to be a consumer and not a customer. It is not our job to implicitly love everything you give us. We're going to be critical about it. We're going to love it. We're going to hate it sometimes. And you need to respond to criticism in a mature manner, not be like, don't look for errors. We didn't do our job, but you shouldn't care that we didn't do our job. You shouldn't care that we didn't care. Fuck off, you twat. Jesus. They shouldn't write him as a prominent Star Wars writer and act like he's a prominent figure, because then I would not have opened out this video with stating that we needed him to figure things out for us. It's very much ironic he showed what the problem is. However, just 3 years later, the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 3 shows the exact same lightsaber that Yoda lost in his duel with Dark Sidious being offered to Grogu by Luke Skywalker. The same lightsaber that was destroyed by Sidious and the Empire. While this is indeed a continuity error, Sol's tweet shows why Star Wars is in such a sad state. And before that, his options were fine. Like, they could have said he built a new one and given a way for him to do that. But they need to show that and have a definitive answer. It can't be like, somehow he did it, and then say, don't look for errors. We fucked up, but you should not give a shit. Just enjoy all this that we're shoveling down your throat. Sequel trilogies, we're shoveling this shit down your mouth, and you gotta love it. I tell you, love it, love it, love it, love it. If you throw up, you're a sexist. That's their attitude, and it's not a good fan studio relationship to have a relationship like that, to have a mentality of going about it from that direction of consumers. We're not consumers, we're customers. It is not our job to give your stuff a chance. As from Heel vs. Babyface says, it is your job to give us a reason to try your stuff and a reason to like your stuff. But Hollywood and apparently the novelizations of Star Wars have forgotten that mentality. It's just, you will accept everything we throw at you, or you're an evil person. Fuck off, you fucking twat waffle. The current creators, if you can call them that, yeah, for fucking real. Like, Sol don't actually care about the lore of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, with how casually he throws out those potential options, he's supposed to be one of the people with that comic book who changed the lore, changed it all the way, and have an answer for stuff like that, or say, hey, it's coming up in a future issue, or have someone who's allowed to, just tweet out canon, do that. Instead, he's like, somehow it happened. And you're just a bad person for finding this error. Fuck off. Continuity is important. It breaks your immersion into a world if that world doesn't make sense. Now, if this is a small continuity error, yes, but it's representative of the larger issue where if they're just like, if a world is broken, you cannot be immersed into it to the same degree, and you cannot make it feel real. Like the original trilogy felt real, even though it had this insane over-the-top sci-fi scenarios. You could believe that this universe could exist, that these people could make the decisions that they are, and they all felt real to you. But if they're rampant continuity issues, it doesn't make any sense, and it takes away your realism and your escapism and your immersion more than anything else. And so by him saying, don't worry about continuity, you dumb motherfucker, that is just an innate misunderstanding of how fandoms work. You can admit when you're wrong. If you're just like, yeah, this may be a continuity error, I don't know, but I'm sure somebody else does. Or we can resolve this in future. Thank you for pointing this out. We'll take care of it. That would have been an acceptable option too. But yelling at the fans, don't look for errors, you dumb mother. Fuck off, you. They should have rather have you get excited for new product and consume new product, as Soul makes very clear when he writes. Yeah, it's just implicitly, oh, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. What did you just watch? It was Star Wars. All right, but what happened? What was good about it? It was Star Wars. They think that people just like the brand. You slap Star Wars at the beginning of X-Men Origins Wolverine, a shit movie, and they seem to expect you'll love it. It's like, no, X-Men Origins Wolverine doesn't make sense in Star Wars. It's not Star Wars. But it's got the logo on it. Don't look for errors. Just enjoy stories. Sounds like a retarded person saying that. No, fans are allowed to have opinions on this. Fans are allowed to debate this, and fans are allowed to reject something if it's dumb, or have criticism for something if it's done. And by attacking fans like this, though it is a lot less than what Pablo Hidalgo or Kathleen Kennedy has done to Star Wars fans, it is definitely representative of the current problem with Star Wars. So I agree with this Bounding into Comics article that this resurfaced tweet very much says where these creators' mindsets are. If they want consumers, not customers, and if you're not a customer, they're going to beat you into, if you're not a consumer, they're going to beat you into being one, or they don't want you. And that's their mentality, and that's always going to cause issues. Errors seek not, stories enjoy you should. That's not even good Yoda talk. See how much longer this article is. Okay, it's not much longer. We can finish this. Look at it another way. A car has lots of parts. It needs the majority of its parts to be functional. One can live with a broken power window or a chip in the windshield. Absolutely, that's a great metaphor. However, when the chip becomes a giant crack, you should have it replaced, or when the window gets stuck in the down position, you have to get it repaired, or the risk of your car being flooded when it rains causes more damage or freezing you out when it's cold. Absolutely, that is a great comparison. Sure, this lightsaber situation is a minor gripe and could be resolved quite easily, and they need to just say, hey, we realize this was a mistake. Thank you for pointing this out. We'll clarify this as soon as we can. That's totally fine. But he's like, shut up. Shut up, you meanies. Don't criticize us. What Lucasfilm has done is they haven't repaired any of the small issues that the vehicle has. In fact, they are the ones creating them, and they've been slowly building up. Not only the small issues building up, but Lucasfilm decided to sabotage their own engine with The Last Jedi and the sequel trilogy as a whole. Yes, absolutely. It feels like, yeah, The Last Jedi took out their engine, and now The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett are still doing their best to push the car along in neutral, and they're still not going to be moving as well as they would be otherwise because they're not great. The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett aren't amazing. They're not offensively bad like the sequel trilogy, but yeah, this car is so fucking broken. It's hard to enjoy a car that even if it has a nice paint job, it's all superficial. Jesus Christ. And they had an aneurysm thinking about that guy. Ugh. As says it best, it is not our job to give your product a chance. You have to draw us in and explain why we should like it and give us reasons to like it and reasons to keep us invested. If creators constantly come at it from this perspective, there are always going to be issues and there's always going to be controversy between the fans and the creators. And yeah, it's very much a current problem with Star Wars and Hollywood in general, because they think they're gods and we're consumers. And that's going to create so many more problems for them in the future, as it has done so many problems in the past. Star Wars is dead, in my opinion. And this is just another gangrenous mole or a fly-ridden hole that's just creepily getting wider and wider. It's not coming back. Well, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.